President Donald Trump's finances are coming under scrutiny once again, with Democrats in control of the House.
KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us with a look at the president's outrage over the move and what Democrats hope to accomplish. Dave.
Yeah, get used to it, okay?
Yeah.
Because the next 2 years in the House will be exactly like this, a lot of scrutiny. There was plenty of action on Capitol Hill today as the Democrats began revving up their committees on a variety of issues involving President Trump and his administration, setting the tone for what could be a long 2 years of controversy and conflict between the House of Representatives and President Trump, and one of the key figures is a congressman from Burbank.
We're going to do our proper oversight.
Led by Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff, the chairman of the powerful House Intelligence Committee, Democrats are turning up the heat on President Trump this week, even as the president delivered remarks Thursday morning at the National Prayer Breakfast.
Today and every day, let us pray for the future of our country. Let us pray for the courage to pursue justice and the wisdom to forge peace.
But it may take more than prayers to slow down the Democrats who control the House now and are eager to make their points.
The subcommittee will come to order.
The Democrats are launching new investigations into President Trump's personal finances, including a hearing today on whether presidents should be required to make their tax returns public.
Does the public have a need to know that a person seeking or holding the highest office in our country obeys the tax laws?
And in another hearing room, the Democrats and Republicans addressed the controversial Trump administration policy last year of separating families at the border.
When did you become aware of the policy?
When the Attorney General said it on television.
What we're talking about is state-sponsored child abuse.
Just a month into their new House majority, Democrats already have a list of demands that include sensitive documents that could shed light on how security clearances were granted at the White House, how companies got contracts to clean up after Hurricane Maria, and whether the president's decisions have been influenced by his own foreign financial interests. In fact, this week, Congressman Schiff announced that the House Intelligence Committee would be expanding its investigation of possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. That
will allow us to investigate any credible allegation that financial interests or other interests are driving the decision-making of the president or anyone in the administration.
President Trump responded on Twitter that Dems and their committees are going nuts. The Republicans never did this to President Obama. But in fact, the Republicans did pursue President Obama very aggressively, especially during his second term, led in some cases by former San Diego County Congressman Darrell Issa.
They hired you as soon as we said we want a bunch of documents, correct?
Mr. Werfel, who was the acting commissioner.
Just yes or no, please. You're a hostile witness.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the Democrats will make no apologies for their aggressive oversight of President Trump.
We will not surrender our constitutional responsibility for oversight. That would make us delinquent in our duties.
And now the House Judiciary Committee is getting into the act as well, voting 23-13 to approve a subpoena if necessary to compel Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker to answer all of their questions. Whitaker fired back with a statement saying it is apparent that the committee's true intention is not to discuss the great work of the Department of Justice, but to create a public spectacle. Political theater is not the purpose of an oversight hearing, and I will not allow that to be the case. But the chairman of the committee announced tonight that Whitaker has now agreed to testify Friday morning, beginning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. And that could set up some heated exchanges when the questions turn to the special counsel investigation of possible collusion between Russia and the Trump 2016 campaign. And it certainly could trigger a fiery start to Friday morning on Capitol Hill, and perhaps some tweets coming out of the audience watching at the White House. Crystal, could be must-see TV.
Or must-see tweets.
Yeah.